Hello all, welcome to the session. Just wait for 2 more minutes and we'll start the session. In the meantime, can you guys hear me and can see the screen? Please confirm in the chat. And today is a demo session, by the way. Like we will cover all the uh, course content and like the resources, everything. Okay, let me start then. Let people join in the background. Fine. So once again, welcome to the session, guys. This is batch 4410 and Karthik here. So yeah, this is the Linux administrator batch and I will come to this one at the last. And the general information is the first three sessions will be for free, right? So like it will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. The first two sessions will be uploaded to the YouTube channel and the third one, the recording won't be there, like it will be available only for the paid candidates. Okay, and this is a paid course, by the way. So we will get into that, what are all the payments and how you can do at the later stage. So yeah, and so if you're not part of the WhatsApp community already, just go to this link. I'll put this link in the chat. And click on join. So it should redirect in your mobile, means it should auto redirect you to the WhatsApp group or the community's WhatsApp community. If not, if you are trying WhatsApp web, it should automatically uh, join if you click on join chat. Okay. So the next one is there is no batch shifting or no refund either. So don't do that, please. And the recordings are available in the um, yeah, so it is available in the Graphy platform. I will show the platform at the last. And please do reach out to the support team only during the business hours, like from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you're having any issues with your recordings, notes, or any such issues, reach out to them. And even your technical doubts also, you can reach out to them. They will connect it with me and we'll figure it out what is the issues you're facing, technical. So these are all the support contact details. So just let me give it in the chat as well. Once you drop an email, please wait for at least few hours. They should respond anyhow, but yeah. So these are all the social links. We'll go through this at the last. So in today's session, since it is a demo, we'll go through the like what is the course content and all. So firstly, what is Linux and how it is important, and why it is still relevant to 90, right? So because a Linux as an operating system, many might already used it and even using it in your, let's say, Android phone. A few elements in your Android is Linux, right? So not even that. Many things which you use on day-to-day basis somehow is influenced by Linux or is might be already running Linux, right? So without knowing, you might be already using it. And like some other tools also, let's say you're using Docker, Kubernetes, or some other DevOps tool. So Linux is there in the backend. Okay. So without that, like, uh, uh, and if you are not using that also in the services which you are using, let's say Gmail or any such important service which you can't live without. So those companies use Linux servers. So like Linux is inevitable as of maybe 2025, right? So, and it's not a latest operating system or latest technology. It's been there for many decades, right? So, this is like 31st year, I guess, Linux is. So, is this the very first iteration of it? Actually, no. So, Linux is based on Minix, and Minix is based on Unix. Okay, so that's the hierarchy. But why people prefer Linux is the versatile it is, right? So you or anyone can create your own version of it, and we will get to that. Okay, so I will show you the kernel one, and I will get into that. But yeah, that answers the first question. What is Linux? It's just an operating system, and it's not a rivalry with your Microsoft OS, like Microsoft OS, right? But it is like an open source or the alternative, and companies prefers open source softwares. If closed source also is good, but this has much more edge or like uh, they can port or do whatever they want and expand it, right? So many features are available in Linux, especially for enterprise. Okay. And why it's still relevant in IT, right? So because there might be like many iterations of operating systems. Companies did try. I'm not saying it is not being tried, but it didn't catch the mass audience, or many companies at least don't didn't adapt it to those operating systems. But Linux is a versatile one that companies immediately, at least few companies or startups popped up during those days, like early 90s and early 90s or late 90s. So companies who popped up and they adopted Linux, and it's been like many years and it is growing exponentially only. There is no decline in the user base or the enterprise base. So whenever I mention enterprise, it's nothing but companies. Yes, don't think that it is some other term. So it is just I'm mentioning the companies. Okay. So yeah. And a little bit about myself. So Karthik here. So I'm like Red Hat certified, and currently I'm working as a platform engineer in one of the MNC companies. So I day to day handle more than almost 10,000, 9,800 servers it is. So yeah, and we will get into this question. We will come back to this question in a few minutes. And now, before RHCSA, or what is Red Hat? But before that, we need to answer one question. Like, how many of you here never ever worked on or heard about science? Can someone put in the chat? Let's see. And I want the session to be interactive. Guys. So, yeah, the question is, did you ever worked on Linux, or you are just like join this demo just to um, like refresh your skills on it? You didn't work. Okay, good, good. Got it. So that's good actually. So if you're, because our course is tailored for beginners till intermediate level. So it is not like the target audience is not advanced users. Okay, so I'm not directly going into some concepts also. From that minimum, like the first question, right? So what is like from that till at least key management and many important sysadmin tasks we will discuss. And it will for sure, um, like if you understood my way of training, it would be great. right? So yeah, at the end, that is what matters, right? So you should remember these concepts, which we will discuss forever, right? So yeah, now let me quickly search this one. And is Linux a community-driven operating system or a single person came up with it? Actually, it is a community-driven, but he's the first guy who coined or who initiated the first build of the kernel. Again, I'm not saying the Linux as a whole operating system. Linux is based, or the heart of the Linux is kernel. So without that, there is no use of Linux, let's say. And the kernel is there in your Windows also, but it works in a different way here. Because in Windows or in any operating system, there is a kernel, right? So that's the core operations. So without that, an operating system doesn't exist, right? So yeah, let's say Mac OS or anything. So the point I'm trying to make is this guy came up with the solution, and he like let's say if you search for him in the internet, he might have told like Microsoft is creating a monopoly in operating system, and he came up with an open source one, and Linux is an open source, right? So that's it. Okay. So now what is open source and closed source? So open source means the code or development tools are accessible. In closed source, it is not even accessible. Okay, so now what does that mean? So let's say in Windows, is it possible for you to change any other things? Like obviously you can change like let's say themes or so, but can you change this settings page? One second, uh, let me put control panel. Okay, so can you disable or let's say rename one of the service? Is it possible? No. Why? Because this is controlled or it is defined by which one? Like which company? Microsoft, right? So they own Windows operating system and they make sure you are not supposed to edit it because you can't. You don't have the source code for this particular, let's say this module. You don't want this module forever, right? So you cannot remove it. Let's say somehow you figured it and you removed it, and they can easily patch it by the next update. Let's say one of the functionality you changed, and they can easily update your system. And for sure, they recommend you to update it every now and then. And like it is inevitable, right? So at some point, it will be restored back to the original state, at least that module. So you literally don't have the upper hand here. Like you cannot like say that, okay, I can do whatever I want in my operating system. Few things are restricted and few things you cannot edit per se, right? So that's the issue with closed source. And because they own that IP or the proprietorship, right? So they own it. So they can do whatever they want and they can charge how much they want. So that's the issue. He faced it. So that's the reason he created his own version of operating system, or he derived from the Minix, right? So that's what this Linux kernel. And you see, he is not the only one because trust me, one person can't create a full-fledged operating system. Maybe nowadays you can using some APIs and many other tools, but maybe in this time it is impossible because now it is structured and many tools are there. Whereas you see this, how many people are there? Almost like 16,000 plus people are there, who contributes on day-to-day basis. You see, this is a very active repository, right? So basically the kernel and the respective files is here, and anyone can create their own version of Linux. I know that sounds bit foreign, but that's how it is. You can also create your own version of Linux, and many companies did. So if I go to this site, DistroWatch. So what this site is, it ranks basically all the distributions using Linux. So you see how many are there, and it is just the top 100 list. So if I go to the very like old one, you might see at least 500 plus uh, different iteration of Linux is there, and each have its own use cases. Let's say Kali Linux is for penetration testing, and like that Ubuntu is for end users like us, right? So Red Hat is for enterprise as well as end users. CentOS is for the same, right? So like that, each have their own use cases, and few are like a passion project, like PureOS, and many are there like that, right? So it is just a passion project for the developers, and they like to contribute to the community. That's this one, and yeah. So what is a package management and those things we will discuss anyhow. It's not an information for the very first session. Okay, so we will come to that later. Again, coming back to the question, why RHCSA or what is Red Hat? So Red Hat again is a company which created their own version of Linux, right? So you might see Red Hat is the 46th version. And is it a small startup also? Obviously, no. So many might already know Red Hat. If not, Red Hat is one of the very recognizable and very famous operating system, or they have the best sources or support team. Let's say you went for the enterprise. So their target audience is not you. It is enterprise or companies. Okay. So, and they are not only an operating system company, so they do multiple things. If you check their products, and you might have heard Ansible, right? So they actually own Ansible and OpenShift. You see, the foundational products for RHEL, and it is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay. So that is in short called as RHEL. So this is the operating system we are working, and then they're not done yet, right? So they even own OpenShift and like OCP, right? So OpenShift Cloud Platform, and your Ansible is there, and you go to platforms like JBoss is owned by them, and it's a very huge list. Okay, so it will go on forever. But the point I'm trying to make is, it is a very huge company, and it is under the belt of IBM. So IBM acquired them like 3 years or 4 years back. Uh, so yeah, that's there. Yeah. So, and is okay. Companies prefer only Red Hat. Is that like they are the monopoly here? No. So there are few other operating systems like Oracle, Linux is there, which is again a very popular one. Solaris is there, HPUX. Like these are all different iterations of Unix, right? So this is not part of Linux, but Oracle Linux and Red Hat are uh, at least they have the traces of the Linux kernel. Okay, so that's there. And but Red Hat have the upper hand here by having 72%, or they dominate the enterprise usage. Or companies prefer Red Hat over all these operating systems, and it is kind of dominating even more like since cloud is being adopted. Okay, so and since this is the go-to uh, company, so they have the best support. So because since it is an old operating system, anything can go wrong. And let's say none of your teammates or even yourself can't figure out those issues, you must like reach out to the vendor. Who is the vendor here? Red Hat. And so you need to check with them. Like, and they are the market leaders in the right? So they have one of the best support teams out there. So yeah. And this is an entry level certification. Okay. So it's not like, okay, this, if you done this certificate and if you mention this in your resume, like this is not the only certification offered by it. Obviously, this certificate has its own credibility, right? So it is a entry level certificate. Do keep that in mind. So you have around 17 more certificates ahead. So it's not like, okay, I'm done this certificate and that's it. You can, if you are interested in this, uh, like let's say in this career path, this is not the end. Okay, so obviously, again, it's your choice. And if you are interested in learning some other tools also, you can do so. And they also have their own certifications. Okay, and that's what our course will revolve around the certification. And it's not only the certification parts we'll discuss. We will discuss much more than that. Okay, so that's where this is the path. Okay, or the learning path or the syllabus, whatever you want to call this one. But this is the way we will discuss. So first, user management. We will start with this, and I might cover process and this later. So flow might change, but all the topics will be covered. Don't worry. Okay. So what is user management and how important it is? So in general or in your laptop, do you manage all the users? Firstly, there might not be a such thing as user management, right? So let's say you're using Windows, like me, right? So you might have two users. One is your own ID, and other one might be admin, or you might be the admin, right? So in that case, only one ID. Or you, let's say you have a friend or a family using your laptop, so their ID also would be logged in. So a maximum of 4 to 5 accounts will be used. And is it that way, or it will be the same in any companies or enterprise? Obviously, right? So let's say there is a server or a system, like anyone can remotely connect to it. There is no restrictions, right? And they are supposed to connect to it. Right? So you are not supposed to restrict anyone. Again, it depends on the use case and all. But the point I'm trying to make is, let's say a new joiner joined that company and trying to access a server, it should not throw him uh, like you don't have the access to, or you're not supposed to use it. Obviously, he also at least need to, the connection should be there. If he have the access or he can, his login is not working, that's a different issue. But at least he must connect to it. The connection should be there. Right. So, like that, the user management is a very, very important aspect for us to set. Why? Because you are the only person who have the privilege to uh, provision the provision user accounts as well as the revoke or even modify. Right. So you basically can manipulate the users at your uh, as per the request. Again, it's not your wish, right? So you, as per the, let's say, some ticket or some request is there for you to, let's say, you are supposed to remove old users which are like, let's say they didn't log in for 5 years, or the server itself is going to be decommissioned, then you can remove those users, right? So like that, so many scenarios are there. We will discuss extensively the user management because it won't be discussed. Let's say you are onboarded to a company or you joined a, a company even as a fresher, it won't be discussed. Okay, so this is a topic which you must know and you must know it forever, right? So and you there is a use case for it, right? So it's not like a simple concept. It's a very important work as a system you must do. And the next one is disk management. Again, we we don't manage our disks effectively, and we need not to, right? So obviously, you are the only person who is going to use it. So, is there any need for you to manage it, right? So the answer is no, right? So in that case, you need to rely on a disk management tool or a strategy to manage the disks, right? And companies have, this is the concept which each company has their own take on it. Let's say a company is DB driven. Let's say a lot of data is transferred, right? So they have a very different approach compared to a company which is like works only with documents, small size files, right? So they work in a very different way. But at the end, they must manage the disks because companies invest a lot of amount in disks, right? So data is where the money is, right? So that's the reason it is a very important aspect. And again, this is also one of the things only sysadmin can, right? So at least in this case, few things you can maybe delegate to some other team. Whereas disk management, only sysadmin can do. And on day-to-day basis, you will do that. Okay, at least maybe disk cleanup or creation of a disk or extension of an existing one, right? So many things you will do on this one. Okay. So moving on to the next one, process management. So now what is a process? So anything which is running, even this like PDF file or even this Zoom meeting, everything is a process as per the system, right? So, and how it is supposed to be managed, right? So now is where you have the task manager. And again, I'm giving a Windows example. Don't think that, okay, it is a Linux session and he's giving a Windows one. This, why I'm giving this is an GUI is there and easily you can, you are already might use it or you might have an hands-on on um, like Windows, right? And I don't have a Mac. So Windows it is. So I will at least compare every, let's say I cover a topic, immediately I'll compare it with Windows so that easily you can relate to. So now what is a GUI and a CLI? Can someone put it in the chat if you know already? Let's see. Disclosure. Obviously, Brahman. So this course for sure will help you crack the RHCSA, and I even have a model question paper. Yes, I will show you that. But yeah, does anyone know the abbreviation of GUI and CLI? Fine. Fine. So let me explain that. So GUI is okay. Yeah, Vinay knows it exactly. So graphical user interface. How about CLI? Command line interface. Exactly. Great. And there is one more user interface called as TUI, and it is text-based user interface. Okay, so this is a very um, kind of underrated. No one uses it, and very few modules are there. But it is a combination of GUI elements and CLI usage, which is TU. Okay? So, firstly, what it does. So, let me explain GUI, and we are actually seeing a GUI example. So, Windows is a very good example for GUI. Like you have a graphical elements like your cursor and like your font, your tools, everything has its own icons, right? So it is easily recognizable and anyone from, let's say, a kid till elderly person can understand at least the GUI because it is self-explained, right? So easily you can grasp it. If anyone is training you also, it is easily understandable. So the example is Windows. And now CLI. So for CLI, you have Linux is a very good example as well as Mac OS also. So in Mac also you have Linux, a flavor of Linux it is. It's not a full-fledged of Mac, sorry, full-fledged Linux. Mac OS underlying there is a Linux. Okay? And even Mac OS can come under GUI also. So they have a good GUI, right? So that's there. And you can even use MS-DOS. So even in Windows, you have CLI. So what is that? Your command prompt is a CLI, right? So let me show you the command prompt. So using GUI, what you're doing, you're interacting with the machine. Let's say I can minimize this, I can maximize it, right? So I can switch between different applications. So uh, those are all easily done in your GUI. Whereas in CLI, you will see only this black box. So here you can only, again, there is a not a restriction. So that's how it works. So without a command, you cannot do anything here. So you cannot say that create a directory. It doesn't do that, right? Or list the font, like like it never understands it, right? So then what you should do, you should type certain commands, then only to understand it. And even this command is not like, okay, um, then I can create my own commands. No, the answer is no. You must use the existing commands. Obviously, you can create your own if you know that how to do that. Okay, so that's a totally different process, right? So that's a developer's process or developer's role. But the point I'm trying to make is the basic navigation, or let's say I cannot even go inside this directory by double clicking because this is a GUI. Your mouse cursor itself is a GUI element, and this is a command. So I need to do CD, and then only I can go inside that path. You're getting the point, right? So we need to navigate to a basic thing like creating a file or creating a directory via command. And now you might be a bit skeptical that, okay, it is very hard, right? So the short answer is no. It is very useful. And one more aspect is it is a necessity. Okay, so why? Because companies prefer or companies like CLI. Why? Because it's not like, okay, only Linux uses CLI. Many other tools, CLI is a like it uses very less system resources and it is far more effective than GUI because let's say you're doing a lot of mundane tasks or a very repetitive task, it is kind of impossible in GUI, whereas here you can do it with trees, right? So the point I'm trying to make is CLI is not hard. Okay, so if you, let's say you are interested in it, it is one of the easiest. Again, it is necessity. Okay, so just keep that in mind because even for developers, let's say you are using Docker, you must type some commands. Right? So that some commands is nothing but CLI. Okay, so that's it. Fine. So let's go back to our syllabus part. And yeah, so the process management, right? So each and everything is a process as per the mission. And this is also a very important aspect for the sysadmin because you are the only person who can, uh, again, anyone can see the status of it, but let's say something went wrong in it, you can troubleshoot it, right? So you can troubleshoot the process. And if something went wrong in the server, you can troubleshoot the server. So that's the next one, server troubleshooting. It's not like only the basic things. So we will discuss much advanced topics also, like if someone rebooted a server, who rebooted? You need to trace that, right? So who rebooted and at what time it actually happened, right? So like that, many things we must understand, at least the basics. It's not like you need to understand the system design or anything, right? So because each company differs. So I will just give you a gist about how to approach that issue, right? So it's not only here. So anywhere, if you are having a skill of uh, like troubleshooting some issues that can be applied anywhere as a sysadmin, it is one of the important traits you must have. Okay, so that's this next part. And last one, I intentionally only mentioned as basic networking because again, networking itself is a separate subject or separate course, right? So I won't, or if I try to cover that also, it will be a huge thing to do, right? So for sure, networking. I will give the again. It's not like only bare minimum we'll discuss. So for sure, we'll create a static IP. What is net stack? Means like what are all the ports it is listening. Like this basic commands related to sysadmin we will discuss. Okay, so on day-to-day basis, what and all you do, like in the networking point of view, we will discuss. Okay, so this is the basic flow of our course, and the next one is the syllabus part. So I will quickly cover all these so that like I will go through your doubts. Let's say if you have. And so the very first thing is the introduction to the operating system. And I mentioned RHEL 8. So RHEL 8 is the latest one. The answer is no. It is RHEL 9, but 8 is also preferred. So companies prefer 8 and 9, but RHEL 7 is obsolete. Like it is the support for it is like kind of done. So none of the companies may be already using, uh, they will be upgrading, right? So there is a leap progress is there, which will upgrade it to the latest one. Let's say from RHEL 7 to RHEL 9, they might upgrade, right? So, but the point I'm trying to make is RHEL 8 and 9, there is not much difference. So I will install RHEL 8, and obviously you can install RHEL 9 and practice version. And I will anyhow provide the operating system to you. So you can use that. But if you really want to use uh, a different version, you can. But don't go for Rail 7. Only Rail 8 and above, you must use. Okay? And what are all the essential and advanced commands we will discuss. And you might think that, okay, so it's all about commands. So we will be discussing every command in the server. And just take a wild guess how many commands is there. So there is around 2,200 commands without any software installed. Let's say you install Docker, that adds, let's say, at least uh, 2 to 3 commands minimum, bare minimum commands will be there for Docker, right? So like that, what if you install multiple applications and you will? Okay, so it's without any applications. So these many commands are there in the server, right? And the answer, like, let's say, are you going to study all the commands or it is required for you to do? Obviously, no, right? But the essential commands is what you need. So the essential one, which is 100 to 150 commands, you must know this. Without this, you can't even navigate or you can't even do bare minimum things, right? So that's these commands, essential and advanced, or without those commands, you can't exist, right? So that those kind of commands we will discuss, or we must discuss as part of the course. So that's the thing. Okay. Again, there is no need for you to remember all the commands because there is help section, manual page, many things are there. So yeah, even in exam, there is no need for you to remember every options, right? So that you might have a doubt, right? So like in the exam, do I need to remember again all these 100 to 150 commands? The short answer is no, right? So you can do a manual page even in the exam. it is allowed. So let's say you forgot an option, you can check the manual page and you can implement that option, but you should know which command's manual page. At least that knowledge you must have. Okay. So yeah. And speaking of exam, so the exam is a practical one. Okay, so do keep that in mind. So let me one sec. Let me show you the page. So you just type bit.ly Linux LL1. So let me give that in the chat. Just bookmark this site, guys. Okay, so click on continue to destination. So here you might see multiple files and notes. So here you just open RHCSA queue and see the question paper. Okay, so now is this the exact question paper you might get in the exam? The answer is maybe. Okay, so why? Because the format or the topics, we will discuss all the topics. And let's say if, okay, so there's user management, right? So we will discuss all the things related to user management. And if they try to ask a different question altogether, still you can answer it because as a topic we covered it. Like that, any other questions, we'll discuss the topic and the respective exams question. Okay, so that you will understand. And let's say you're planning to attend the exam, you can. Okay, so RHCSA exams first, those things we will discuss at the last or maybe tomorrow also we can discuss. But the point I'm trying to make is this is one of the certification which has a very good credibility. Let's say you're starting your career in Linux, or if you're already an experienced one, this like you can add it in your resume at least. Right. So this at least shows you that you have an experience of 2 years. Okay. So that much credibility it does. Okay. So it does have it. Fine. So and even the answers are here, guys. Okay, so and this link is available forever. So you can bookmark it. So this link will never change. So you just I will even give this drive links. Let's say the shortcut link is the URL shortener is not working. You can bookmark this. Okay. The installation files and all we will discuss tomorrow, not today. Okay, so I don't want to bother on the very first day. So we will see how the installation and those things works. And we will be doing the installation part on through VMware Workstation. And you can even choose Oracle Virtual. Okay. So means it is using your own laptop, this one. And let's say you don't have the privilege in your laptop, like you're using your company's laptop, or you don't have a admin privilege in your laptop, you can't install any softwares, right? So in that case, you have, or I will show you how to do it in AWS and GC. Okay. So the point is, this is the lab. So there is no separate lab provided by Logic Labs or myself, right? So this is the lab, basically your own system. We will install the software, or we will use AWS, and it is a free tier, is there? So there is no need to pay any amount for any of the labs. Right? So this in this case, this is your system, like VMware Workstation is this software, like this. So we will install the OS. I will guide you how to install it, so don't worry about it. But yeah, not today. So we'll do that later. And okay, so that's the very first thing we must do. So since it is a practical examples. So you might have noticed, is there any MCQ question in this question paper? No, right? So it's a practical questions. Means if you know how to answer this question, you can, or else you can't, right? So that's how crucial it is. And this is one of the few questions. If you don't know how to answer, you cannot proceed with the rest of the questions. Like without resetting a password. And in your exam, this there is two servers will be there. So let's say you don't know how to reset this password, you cannot log into that server and you cannot answer another 5 more questions, right? So that's how crucial this is. And that's also one of the reasons this certification has an edge over many other. Right, so there are exams for Linux which has MCQ questions, but in Red Hat, none of the certifications there is no MCQ. It is practical one, and our whole batch itself will be a practical one. Okay, so I don't want to bore you with a theory one. So obviously, we need to see the basic theory part. That is inevitable. You must know few things. But let's say in the long run, we will be doing everything practical. Okay, so I will explain, let's say, one concept and the practical commands, right? So commands, or let's say the command is not working, what you will do, right? So all those we will cover, right? So the next one is performance monitoring. So this is again an important trait you must have as a system, which is how well your system resources are working. And firstly, what is your system resources? It's nothing but whatever you see here, your CPU, memory, disk, network, and GPU. So GPU might not be eligible in some cases, but you're getting the point, right? So these are all the important resource which are necessity, right? So you must monitor these because you're running some applications on it. Again, you might not monitor in your local machines, but in your production servers, there might be a dedicated team just to monitor that. Because let's say there is a memory failure or there is a memory is like 100% utilized, the system won't even respond, right? So in that case, what you should do, or the application will be, that there might be an outage in the application. So like many use cases, or there might be data loss, or like there is a lot of use cases in this case. So the point I'm trying to make is you must monitor, and in this case, I can monitor this one single mission. So is it possible in your production servers? Like you will have thousands of servers, right? So it is impossible. So then what is the solution? You must use a monitoring tool. So let's say now what are all the monitoring tools out there? So you have New Relic and Grafana, ELK stack, right? So like that, it's a very huge list. Plug. So you might have came across a few of these tools, or you might have seen in your company they used it, some other team, right? So these are all few monitoring tools. It's a very huge list. So at least one I will try to discuss, or it will be included in the resource page. Okay, so if I cannot come uh, like train you on that, I'll be including that in this page so that you can go through that. And it is an important knowledge you must have. Okay, so that's there. That's the performance monitoring. And obviously, we'll discuss the monitoring aspect in internal tools. Obviously, it should be there. So we will discuss those. Okay? And these are all the user management things. So obviously, we need to create a user, modify, delete, and provision some privilege accesses, right? So that's called as super user access here. And it's a very interesting way of approach to provision a privilege because in Windows, it's totally a different way. And I'm not sure about Mac, but in Windows, if you compare, it is a very hard way it is actually compared to Linux. So the next one is the basic OS concepts. So like and again, understanding the essential tools, how it works, and how to search for a specific terms. And so this might looks like a very basic topics, but that's what we will cover these things quickly. And from basics, if you're going through that, you will gradually or exponentially we will see the advanced topics. And for that, you need to have the basic understanding. Let's say you are new to Linux, you must know these. So directly, I cannot go to some huge topic like disk management without giving a basic idea what it does or how capable your system is, right? So you must have this. understanding. So the next one is accessing remote system using SSH. So firstly, what is SSH? It is called as secure shell. SSH full form is secure shell. Now, what is a shell? We will discuss those things later. But yeah, how to access the server remotely? Why you should access remotely? Because the server won't be located in your, let's say, your office premise. Obviously, no. It will be in somewhere some cold countries out there, like Russia or Canada, right? So like that somewhere it will be located. So you must access it remotely, right? So that's the let's say if something went wrong, how to troubleshoot those. Each and every topic, if something goes wrong, how to troubleshoot those. Even that will be discussed. Okay. And the next important aspect, it is the archiving. So since we are dealing with a lot of data, you must archive at certain point. Right? So without that, the data will be piled up and you must use a lot of disks in a small infrastructure. Right? So like that, it should not be encouraged. And from the very early days, company should adopt the at least have some archive servers also. Okay. So how to do those, we will discuss. And the again, file manipulation, create, delete, copy, um, modify, right? So rename, all that we will do. And what is hard link and soft link? Again, this is not a huge topic per se, but it does has its own use case in some uh, like few places this might be usable. So we will discuss that again. And the next one is the file permissions. And this is an important topic, guys. Because in Linux, it works in a very unique way. The permissions are treated, and you must understand it. Without this, you might not be eligible as a system. Okay, so that's how important these permissions are. And we will see it quite extensively, how to change it, how it is created. And as per the exams question, we will see all those. Okay. So the next one is system admin activities, sysadmin activities, like uh, like checking the booting procedures. And in tomorrow's session itself, we will discuss what is a booting procedure and like how to interrupt it. If you interrupt it also, how to like recover it back. Let's say you interrupted and you somehow messed up the system. You you need to again restart, and it is doing a boot loop. Basically, the server is you're trying to start at the like in your laptops also. There is a hard disk corruption or something. The server will try to, or your laptop will try to boot. Again, it will restart and doing the same again and again because it cannot proceed further. Right. So there is something messed up in the laptop or in the hard disk that it is not allowing it to proceed further. So then in that case, what you should do, right? So those things we will discuss in the booting process. So once you know the booting process only, you can troubleshoot it, right? So that's this one. And the next one is how to identify the intensive processes. So for this, you need to go to the uh, a tool like Task Manager in your Linux, and you need to, let's say, in my case, Google Chrome is consuming a lot of memory and CPU, Zoom is consuming. So like that, you have, you can easily like locate which process it is in Linux. It is, you must know uh, few things or few commands you must do. And in your production servers, there will be a lot of applications. In my case, still this is a lot, but in your production server, there is a SLA breach also is there. Let's say you are not responding to a like application outage within few minutes, there is a data loss and there is a huge financial loss also, right? So these are all few things which you need to uh, like act on while you are wearing the sysadmin hats. It's so very, very important. And the next one is tuned profile. And that it's not a much huge of a topic, but we must cover those important one. And yeah, the log files. How to analyze a log file is a that itself is a skill. So you must have a understanding of a log file. And even in this mission, there will be event logs, right? So not only here, any mission you take from your like not even systems, right? So your camera or your mobile or anywhere, there will be a log. Why? That's the purpose of system. So there will be something broken or something not working, and that should be logged at any time, right? So without that log, you cannot fix that issue, right? So at least you might not have the privilege to access the log in, let's say, mobiles or any devices. But here, this logs plays a vital part for analyzing and avoiding that mistake in the maybe next build or let's say next patch. You should avoid that issue, right? So, and it should not happen forever, maybe, right? So, if it's a huge issue, it should be diagnosed and it should not happen forever. So that's the this one. We will again discuss extensively how to analyze and those things and preserve the system journals. Okay, yeah. So the journal log it is. And the next one is again manipulating the services. Start, stop, check, troubleshoot, all this to the any system services, how you do that. Okay, so that's the one. And how to securely transfer files between servers. So like it doesn't matter from Windows to Linux, from Linux to Windows, you have from Linux to Linux itself, you can transfer files. We will see two commands are the like rsync cp. So we'll discuss those. And the next one is server patching. So firstly, what is a patch? It is to fix something which is broken and fixing it quickly. Okay, healing an issue, right? So and why we are going to patch a server, right? So obviously there is a lot of software running in it, and it should be updated at certain point, and that update will have the bug fix. So let's say something went wrong in the server, it is a bug, right? It can be server level, application level, that doesn't matter, but that bug should be fixed, and it can cost you your entire infra itself, right? So if it is not fixed, um, that's a huge issue, right? So there can be a malware attack or some the security aspect of the server might be compromised if it is not updated. Even that kind of crisis also companies faced and is still facing in these days, right? So you must understand the use case or the criticality of the patching. And as a sysadmin, only you can do the patching work. So that's there. So the next one is LVM, and it is a disk management concept, and it is full form is logical volume management. And this is the USP of Linux guys. So without this, um, this is one of the key factor companies prefer Linux. So let's say there is one more disk here. So what if you can combine two disks? Let's say there is a disk called as disk 2 is placed here, disk 2 of size, let's say 1 TB. Okay. So now I want to use or combine this disk 1, sorry, disk 0 and disk 2. Can I do that natively in Windows? The answer is no, you can't. Whereas in Linux, you can, and it is natively means within the basic or internal commands, you can do it. Okay? So that's this one, right? So we will see extensively like 2 to 3 sessions at least on disk management. At least 2 to 3 hours, we must know that, right? Because it's one of the day-to-day tasks you will do for sure. Like how to create remove like physical volumes or volume groups or like partitions, right? So how to format a partition, and if something went wrong, how to diagnose it, right? So all that we will discuss, and what is Stratus video. And this is all advanced version of LVM concept. We will discuss those. Okay. And the next one is it's almost done. Okay. So the next one is security aspect. So obviously, even in mobile or any system you buy, like you're going to use that system for at least 2 to 3 years. So you will consider the security aspect because you're putting your data to it, right? So data is valuable than, or it should not be compromised at the end. So that's the important thing. And Linux is known for its security features, and even compared to Windows or Mac or any other operating system, Linux has very less cyber attacks, right? So like that, many traits are there because trust me, the cyber attacking tool is also built on top of Linux only, right? So that's how it is. Okay. And it is used in many security, like cyber security tools are there. And Kali Linux is a very important cyber security operating system, which is a Linux based. Okay. So like that, many use cases are there. So coming to this topics, so how the key-based authentication works, the firewall aspect of it, right? So like what is SE Linux, right? So security enhanced Linux, and how it is impacting the server's security aspect, and how to restrict a user, right? So restrict a user to a certain path, a certain commands. So how to do that, and many things we'll discuss on security, right? So the next one is, as I mentioned, basic networking, the static IP, how to set it, the host name, and how to configure the network services. So, right, so those things we will discuss. And last two topics, which is containers, like Podman as mentioned. So firstly, what is a container? It is an optimal version of your virtualization. So now what is virtualization? We will discuss it in tomorrow's session. So virtualization versus containers as well as booting procedure, we'll discuss in tomorrow's session. Okay? But containers is a very important concept. Again, companies are already adopted or in the migration phase for using the containers, and we will configure it in admission. And this is also part of the exam. So you must know this one. Let's say you're planning to attend the exam, you must know this. And the next one, last one is your VMware vSphere. So this VMware won't be used in your exam actually. Sorry, in your work environment. So we are trying to use the different version, which is vSphere, and the companies prefer this. So this has a lot of options in it. We will try to I will try to discuss the basic features of it. Again, it's a separate syllabus or separate course altogether. vSphere you can do, and there are even certifications on VMware vSphere. But we will see how it is the basic understanding of what and why is there. Okay, so that's it. Your syllabus is done. And is there any questions on like for the course or anything? And this is the course timing. So every day on the weekdays from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And some days, even today, I exceeded the time. So at least 10 minutes, maybe give or take 10 minutes, I might exceed the time. So yeah, but the session will start at 8 p.m. Okay. And the course is a paid one, and the course fees is around 4.7K INR. Okay. So 4,720, and in USD it is 57 dollars. And the duration is approximately 4 weeks. So it can go beyond that also. So based on your doubts, it can go beyond that. And if you're having doubts or you want me to explain a topic again, right? So the course span will uh, increase. Right? So yeah, and doubts are welcome anytime. And if you can't reach me or you are having doubts maybe after the sessions, you can drop an email to the support team. So they will connect it with me. So we will try to clear it, or maybe next session you just ping me that, or we can figure it out. So don't worry about the doubts and all. We can do it. And the recordings will be available in the portal. So the portal is, you just go to this site. This is our official website, and go to courses, and yeah. So this is the course link. So let's say you are fine with my way of learning, you can enroll for this course. Okay. And let me show the YouTube channel name. One sec. And try to join tomorrow's course also, guys. So tomorrow's session, because tomorrow is again a demo, right? So yeah. So this is the YouTube channel link. So you just click that, and you can see my previous recordings, right? So day 2, day 1, or even much more recordings are there. So you just go through those and see my way of training. And if you're really fine with that, do join. Okay. And who are all eligible for this one, right? So let's say you're done with the course. Okay. So let's say it is May 21st. 1 month is over. So now, once you're done with the course, what you should do? So you have sysadmin role or system engineer role, you are eligible for it, right? So you can apply for it, and this is for the people who are having like no experience till 2 years of experience. You are eligible for this role, sysadmin and system engineer. Let's say you're already experienced like 4 to 5 years, right? Or let's say 3 to 5 years, you are eligible for platform engineer. Okay. And let's say you are 5 plus years, you are eligible for SRE or DevOps. Okay, so it's not only Linux. So here, 0 to 2 years, right? So he can have Linux experience. Just Linux is what asked in the interviews. Platform engineer also, like 80% Linux will be asked. Remaining 20% some other tools. Respective to their platform, they will ask, let's say job schedulers and many things like monitoring tools and all. So the next one, SRE, right? So here it is nowadays SRE and DevOps, there is a silver lining between both. So companies call them as DevOps, some companies call them as SRE. So that's how it is. Right? So this is like 20% Linux, remaining all are like scripting is there, and like let's say Git, CI/CD, and so many other, right? So CI/CD and like Artifactory, right? So many tools you must know. Again, I'm not trying to scare you that okay, you must know all this, but that's how the expectation is, right? So companies uh, expect a lot, especially from a DevOps guy, compared to your platform engineer or system engineer. Okay, so that's how it is. Okay, that's the career path. So once you're done with the course and the exam, you can plan, and the exam fees is around 20K, guys. Okay, so 21K to be precise. So 21K INR it is. Okay, in USD, I'm not sure why, but it is around 400 USD dollars. US dollars, it is very costly. So compared to our, so if you convert, it is more than 30K. So in Indian money, right? So yeah, so that's the thing, guys. We will see the rest of the topics in tomorrow's session. And is there any doubts, anyone, on the syllabus part or the payment or anything? And the payment can be made in multiple ways, like your credit card is allowed, debit, PayPal, right? So everything is allowed. So you just click on buy now and check out. That's it. And you must have an account with the Logic App. So it will right away ask you for creating an account. Once you create it, it will proceed with the one sec. Let me show you that also. Yeah, Brahmaya, it is done. Yeah, we can cover it. So in 20 sessions, that's what, like 1 hour sessions. It will be again like a minimum of 20 sessions will be there. So like we can span between like 20 to 25 hours, right? So that's how it is. But the bare minimum is 22 hours or so, right? So, but all the topics will be covered. Don't worry about the topics in the syllabus. Yeah, Balaji, let me unmute you.
Hello.
Yeah, Balaji,
Right, Karthik.
you
So,
do.
mine is a bit typically different question for people who want to move their career into architect role.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, how how much Linux administration is needed? See, let me give you
Architect role in
a
the sense
background now
like
completely. So,
mhm,
I'm my ETL developer, come business analyst, and almost like 17 years of experience.
uh-huh.
See, the problem here is I cannot continue as a data engineer now. Right.
Okay.
And so for that reason, right, I sort of learning Linux because nowadays, right, if I have to go towards these roles, right, SRE, senior SRE roles, or
Mm-hmm.
management is a very tough role here because if you go towards management, right, project management, will
Mm-hmm.
be
True
missing
that. Yeah.
technical part. I just wanted to be a techno-functional guy.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah.
Because as a ETL developer, right, normally we will be using just the limited Linux version, right, where you'll be
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
commands
Obviously.
and using limited commands, Linux
Mm-hmm.
commands.
Yeah.
So
So,
if I go ahead, Karthik,
y-
sorry.
yeah. So in your case, like Linux creates a foundational knowledge. At least our course will be a foundational knowledge. So with this, since you are having a lot of experience, for sure you can apply for, let's say, senior SRE or so. So you can easily move to that. Again, it's not only Linux you are eligible to move that. Like you need to understand DevOps, at least the DevOps methodologies and so. But this creates a foundational knowledge because many, trust me, many people is lacking the foundational knowledge and they are like, let's say, cloud
Arrogance.
engineer
Okay.
and all. So they
Right.
struggle a lot understanding because right away, let's say they are entering a company as a cloud engineer, but they don't have the basic knowledge of Linux. And the cloud is again a Linux based or many servers are Linux operating
Mm,
system,
mm,
right? So
mm.
the point is
Yeah.
that's what you have the basic understanding and you can implement that for your role for sure.
Right.
And our course is for entry level, right? So easily from basics we'll cover. So
Right.
in
Because
your case, you might know already, right? So in your case, it is not that like
not that
you.
perfect also because see, it's been a while ago, right? I worked as a developer where you'll be writing the commands.
Mhm.
Because the other reason for choosing Linux is see, Python is not my cup of tea.
Uh-huh.
I tried
Okay.
all the time, right? When I open the book, half the way,
Uh-huh.
right? I read the same page and I don't know when I get into sleep. So
Okay.
I thought,
And you're
okay, at
not
least.
alone. Okay. So many people is like that. So yeah, got it.
So I thought, okay, at least I have Linux, a bit of Linux background. So if I do Linux administration, how
Uh-huh.
far that is helpful for me if I move? Because see, as an architect, right, nowadays you should definitely have the CACD in place and all. You should have know the DevOps, so any cloud-based DevOps, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at least if I don't know Python, right, the Linux should help me out, right? As
Yeah,
in,
you already answered it. So that's what, like, Linux is a necessity nowadays.
right.
So, and even colleges was not that much into Linux. So very few
Karthik,
colleges
see, right,
have.
17 years back, the college life, the
Mhm.
lecturers, all
Yeah.
these colleges, all these engineering colleges are all the same people from the same college used to come as lecturers.
Okay.
And they introduce.
Yeah. Yeah. True that.
So
Yeah.
we don't know whether whatever the code we wrote right at that point of time is correct or not.
Yeah.
With the internet speed that we have and with the power cuts that we have at that point of time.
Yeah.
Mm, So, and then moreover, I was an old student of Sunil because I attended his
Oh,
AWS course,
okay.
I attended his AWS DevOps course.
Uh-huh. That's great.
Mm,
So you
mm,
already
mm.
know how we operate, right? So that's
Right,
great. Yeah.
right. So
So
that of learning Linux administration. So maybe.
sure,
Uh,
Balaji. So yeah,
mm,
this would be a good course for you. At least you can unlearn few things and learn it back. Right. So
right.
that is a good thing, right? So you will have that at least the not a knowledge gap per se, but you will have that flow. So with this flow, you can go with some other tools also, right? So
Mm, mm, mm.
that's there. So yeah,
Because
and
in future, I don't
yeah.
know. I want to move
Mhm,
my
mhm.
career as I'm still in what do you say on the top of a wall. I don't know where to go. Whether product management suits me or architect suits me or uh,
Mhm.
mm,
You're in a dilemma
no,
between those. Okay.
right. Uh,
Uh,
so it's kind of too many chefs spoil the broth, right? Too many what's say languages or tools that we learn, right?
yeah,
Spoil
obviously,
our
yeah.
career.
But it's good that in your like with your experience, you're trying to learn something new. So that's a very good very good habit at least. It is a
Um,
habit, right? So very few people have that. At least they will
um,
take that step further. So
because
many people is comfortable with what they know at your experience. So at least you are taking that effort. So that must be appreciated for sure. And if you're fine with my way of training, because it is a pure practical one only. So as of now,
right,
since it is a very first session, I don't want to dive deep into everything. So I will take it gradually. So we will see, but everything is a practical commands, everything we'll discuss. So don't worry about it. And feel free to ask any doubts at any time.
sure,
So
sure, sure. It's not see again. It's a layman thing. It should
mhm,
not be like experience questions or things, but
exactly. Mhm.
mm, even I might not know a simple command now. Because after
Hmm.
5 to 10 years, right, if you move
Hmm.
your career into a different role, it's very difficult.
True that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Thanks, Karthik.
worry,
Yep,
Balaji.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
We will figure it out. Yeah.
Sure. Right. Thanks.
So
Thanks, Karthik. Nice talking to
yeah,
you.
no problem.
Yep.
No problem. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, Kirti, you raised your hand. I unmuted you. Can you unmute yourself, Kirti, if you are fine?
Hi,
Yeah.
Karthik.
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah,
Kirti. Yeah.
I have long gap of career break.
Uh-huh.
So I'm restarting my career. I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting with Linux. So
Okay.
I'm bit scared and uh,
Bit skeptically
panic.
whether this is a right one.
Yes, yes, that the
Okay.
thing
But
I want to.
previously, which technology you are used to?
No, no. Before my marriage, I am in different field, and
Oh,
now I
okay.
want to start this into the Linux. So, which is completely for me uh, new start.
Yeah,
So,
new thing for sure. Yeah.
yeah, new thing.
It's a
So you should guide me for
yeah,
small things.
for
Also,
sure.
if I got doubts or anything, you have
Sure,
to.
Kirti.
Yeah.
That's what, like, as I told, right? So from bare minimum, we will discuss. So that's the reason
Okay.
our course is mainly they designed for people like you from
Okay.
basics till
Yeah.
at least intermediate level, not advanced. Because
Okay.
at the end, in your case, interviews, they don't expect you to be the smartest Linux person, right? So they just want you
Okay.
to at least answer bare minimum, right? So
Okay.
because
Mm.
that's the need, right? So they don't expect everyone to excel every question or answers. Right? So the point
Yeah.
is, you must know bare minimum. At least in your case, if you do the certification, that will add an advantage in your resume. Right? So
Okay.
since you
For the
are
certificate,
planning, hmm,
what is how the procedure to get
I
certification?
will guide. Yeah, I will guide you.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah.
Is it enough for the Linux or have to learn something other than this?
Just Linux itself, you are eligible for like applying Linux admin or many roles
Oh,
are there. So you are
okay, okay.
eligible as such. Okay, and companies nowadays encourage the restart or after a career break, right? So let's say
Yes.
TCS or CGI, and many companies are like that, right? So
Okay.
like
Okay.
they encourage actually. So
Yeah.
that's
Mm.
and there are openings still now and it will be
Okay.
there forever, right? So this is not an like uh, a job like a Linux job which will be extinct, let's say within few years. So this job will be there forever. So that's what there is a server means there would be an admin needed. So and this
Okay.
is not like only you are not stuck with only Linux admin. You can explore and as Balaji told, right? So you can go to SRE or platform engineer and many
Mhm.
roles. This is a foundation knowledge. So you must know
Okay.
as I
This is
mentioned
the
multiple
foundation.
times. Yeah, as I mentioned multiple
Okay.
times, this is a necessity knowledge. You must have no other choice
Okay.
nowadays. So at
Okay.
least you will use somehow.
Okay.
Even let's say you are trying for some other role also, you might use
No.
Linux. So at least for
Okay.
that, this
Okay.
is useful. So yeah, that's what.
Yeah. If I want to, and if I get any doubts, we have to approach administration email. Then you will be
Yeah, yeah. You
getting
you
back
can reach out to me. Let's say after the
class.
recordings after the class, you can just
Okay.
tell me if whatever doubts you have, even basic doubts. Don't be shy and avoid it. Okay,
Okay.
just ask
Okay.
even the
Sure.
basic
Sure.
doubts. We will clear it
Yeah,
up. Don't worry.
because it's
Yeah,
completely new for me, so I don't feel
that's
any shy.
understandable. Yeah,
So I want to clear my doubts itself in the class itself. Okay. Thank you so
sure.
much.
Sure thing.
Mm.
And you are not alone, okay? So don't worry, right? So it's like
Okay.
many people, freshers are there, and many like I actually trained in like few batches back. He was not into IT. He's a chef actually. He's a foreigner, by the
Oh,
way. He's a chef.
oh,
He moved to IT,
okay.
and now he's a DevOps guy. Okay, so it's like that.
Oh, that's
So
very
I can
nice.
give many examples like that. So just you need to put your time into it, right? So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Okay.
the investment for you. So you need to put
Yeah.
time into it. If you're not
Okay.
understanding, do let me know. We will figure it out. Don't worry. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Karthik.
Sure, Ketan. Okay, then. So it's already
Bye
late
bye.
for you guys. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
let me
Thank you. Bye.
stop it here. So yeah, thanks all
Okay.
then. Let's see in tomorrow's
Mm.
session. Thanks all.
Okay.
Bye bye. Yeah.
Bye
Bye.
bye.